The morning after my daughter's wedding arrived softly, like a held breath finally released. Sunlight rested on the curtains in the house, which had been overflowing with voices and music only hours before, felt calm and reverent. I sat alone with a cup of tea, listening to the quiet settle into the walls. My daughter was married now, beginning a life shaped by promises and hope, and I felt a peculiar blend of pride and tenderness that comes when a parent realizes her child has stepped into a future they can no longer guide in every detail. There were things she knew about me, and things she did not, and one of those unspoken truths rested heavily in my thoughts that morning. I had loved her father deeply, in the way love grows when two people build a life side by side through ordinary days. He was not a man of grand gestures, but of steady presence, and that steadiness became the foundation of our family. When he passed, the grief felt like learning a new language of silence. I moved through days carefully, discovering that love does not disappear when a person is gone. It changes shape, becoming memory, habit, and quiet gratitude. What my daughter did not know, what almost no one knew, was that he had left behind an inheritance far larger than I had ever imagined. The money itself had arrived without drama, announced in formal letters and careful conversations with lawyers. $7 million is a number that feels unreal until it is written plainly in black ink. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, reading the documents again and again, as if repetition might make them feel less like a dream. My husband had planned carefully, investing patiently, never speaking of it because he believed peace came from simplicity. In his final act of care, he had given me security without spectacle. I chose silence not out of secrecy, but out of respect for the life we had shared. Raising my daughter after his passing had taught me the quiet strength of routine. We cooked together, talked late into the evenings, and found comfort in small traditions. I wanted her to grow up knowing that fulfillment did not depend on wealth, but on kindness, resilience, and the courage to love openly. She grew into a thoughtful woman, someone who measured success by the quality of her relationships rather than by what she owned. Watching her fall in love and plan her wedding reminded me of my own early years, when everything felt possible and time seemed generous. The wedding itself was simple and beautiful, shaped by care rather than extravagance. There were flowers chosen with intention, vows spoken with sincerity, and laughter that carried easily through the room. I watched my daughter and her partner promise their future to one another. I felt the past and present fold together inside me. Love, I realized, is not diminished by time or loss. It expands, making room for new stories while honoring old ones. As a mother, I stood quietly, letting the moment belong fully to them. Throughout the celebration, I noticed how she moved through the room, greeting friends and family with warmth and ease. She had inherited her father's calm confidence, and my heart swelled with gratitude. I wondered briefly how the knowledge of the inheritance might change things if I shared it now. Would it alter the way she saw her life, her choices, her marriage? I decided then that some truths reveal themselves best when the moment is right, not simply when they exist. In the days following the wedding, the house returned to its familiar rhythm. I organized thank you notes, folded decorations away, and returned borrowed items with quiet satisfaction. My daughter called often, sharing small details of her new routine. The way mornings felt different when shared with someone who had chosen her for life. I listened, offering encouragement without intrusion. Love, after all, thrives when given room to breathe. I thought often about my husband during that time. I imagined what he would say if he could see her now, settled into her own future. He would smile, I knew, content in the knowledge that his careful planning had created stability not only for me, but potentially for generations to come. The inheritance was not simply money. It was a reflection of his belief in preparation, patience, and quiet generosity. It carried his voice, even in absence. Romance, I have learned, is not confined to youth or grand declarations. It exists in trust, in shared purpose, in the understanding that two lives can grow together without losing their individual shape. My marriage had taught me that love is built daily, through choices that honor both the present and the future. Watching my daughter begin that journey filled me with hope, not fear. I trusted the values she carried with her, values shaped by example rather than instruction. There were evenings when I sat with my thoughts, weighing the responsibility that came with such unexpected wealth. I did not see it as a prize, but as a tool. It offered the possibility of support, of opportunity, of security in uncertain times. Yet I was mindful that money, when introduced without care, can complicate even the strongest bonds. I wanted my daughter to know that her life was already rich, that anything I might one day share would be an extension of love, not a foundation for it. As weeks turned into months, I found peace in waiting. My daughter and her partner built their routines, faced small challenges, and celebrated quiet victories. Their happiness was genuine, unforced, and that mattered more to me than any confession of wealth. I remained present, available, and supportive, trusting that the right moment would come naturally. Love, after all, is patient, and so was I. One afternoon, while sorting through old photographs, I found an image of my husband holding our daughter as a child. His expression was one of complete devotion, the kind that needs no explanation. I felt a surge of emotion, not sorrow, but appreciation for a life well lived and a legacy thoughtfully prepared. In that moment, I understood that the inheritance was never meant to be a secret kept forever, but a story shared when it could be received with wisdom. Romance, in its truest form, is about continuity. It is about carrying love forward, adapting it to new chapters, and allowing it to evolve without losing its essence. My daughter's marriage was not an ending, but an expansion, a new branch growing from a strong root. When I eventually tell her about the inheritance, it will be framed not as a surprise, but as a reminder how deeply she was and is loved. Until that day comes, I live fully in the present. I nurture my own interests, maintain friendships, and honor the memory of the man who shared my life with such quiet integrity. I celebrate my daughter's happiness without overshadowing it, trusting that transparency, when guided by care, strengthens rather than divides. Love has taught me that timing is an art, and patience is one of its most beautiful expressions. My daughter may not yet know about the $7 million, but she knows something far more valuable. She knows she is supported, believed in, and cherished. When the truth is finally shared, it will rest on that foundation, steady and secure. Until then, I carry the knowledge gently, as one carries a precious letter meant to be opened at just the right moment, confident that love, when honored, always finds its way.